Thank you.
There you go.
Someone came on and knocked it off. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Amin, you're back on. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, and you see that we did. We've been cleared. We were, and I think that question came up in Cal again. If you remember my update in Cal, we were cleared by operations accepted is the term that they used on February the 16th. We turned our security fund in on the 9th. We were accepted on the 16th. There you go. And you see on your transaction sheet, you will see this check number 1299 security fund. It's category 9 for $25. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. And I think before we had to pause to get the recording back up and running, Commissioner Carley was about to say something.
Oh, I answered your question.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
get another one.
I don't know if.
No, I was asking you about the checks that need for this month.
Right. All right, commissioners. Here's your transaction sheet 2. And Commissioner Higgins, if it's not too much of a bother, can you pull up the other sheet, or we can just vote from here? I mean, it's
the other sheet will not activate for some reason. I'm unable to open it because of the type of file it is.
Yeah, it's a PDF. Yeah, it's the signature sheet. It just shows where we sign.
Okay.
All right, so this is your transaction sheet and your files, commissioners. And commissioners, I know that Chair Carley received her file because we spoke about it, and I asked her. I said I sent files out on today, and she verified that she did receive her file. I don't know why Commissioner Piekara and Commissioner Costello never seem to receive their files, so we should probably check in with operations. We need to check in with OAC because it seems like this is the second time we voted this year on a quarter, and somehow or another you two don't receive you're not receiving the your quarterly files. And you know, I want to express to you if it's mentioned in Cal that we're having a vote, that's why we do the update. So in Cal, if we say we're having a vote and you just like a resolution and you don't have it, I think that why don't you reach out to the treasurer and say like, hey, you know, I thought that we were going to have a vote, or reach out to the chair and let's do a update in between. Yeah.
I also wonder, in part of this, I don't know that I'm added to a Google Drive, or not a Google Drive, a OneDrive folder for our ANC. So that could be part of it, because that was not historically something we'd been using around this time last year. But I also wonder for the need to post it publicly, since the public can't get to those OneDrive links, either if it might make sense to either post it on the website and or send PDF copies to everyone. Just that way that we can publish it externally. In the Drive format, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, absolutely, Commissioner. That's for your first part. That would have been. We need to probably talk to. I know that when I put you in, you automatically pop up into receiving the file. So I know that if I just put in 5B03, you, Commissioner Prita Piekara, will come up and it goes out sent and received. So sent. And yes, and that's one of the reasons that we were. I think that I haven't viewed our new website yet, but I think that just like the minutes and the agenda, Chair Carley and I discussed that the financial documents that come from the treasurer will also be posted on there. So that will be things like your quarterlies, your budget, and anything else deemed by the board that should be posted on our website that the public may want to review.
Okay, do we need to vote on anything, Treasurer, before we move on?
Yeah, no, we do need to vote on the quarterly, Commissioner. So I am going to put that motion on the floor that FY25B's FY22 Q2 QFR is accepted and approved.
Okay, motion has been put on the floor to approve and support the, or accept the Q2 FY22 budget report. Is there a second?
Second,
The motion has been
Commissioner
seconded.
Higgins. Mhm.
The motion has been second. Roll call vote. 5B02,
Aye.
5B03,
Accepted.
5B04,
Yes.
5B05.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The motion passed. 4. We have 1 yes, 1 accepted, no, 2 yes, 1 accepted and one aye to approve the motion, and it is passed. We have no abstentions and no one opposed. All right, let's move on. Do we have PSA 405 Captain Terry on, or a representative for PSA 405? No? Okay, do we have PSA 503? Captain Moore on.
It's Lieutenant Devlin, Captain Moore, 5th District.
Oh, hi, welcome. I'm sorry, can you say your name again, please?
Lieutenant Devlin, Joseph Devlin.
Devlin, okay, welcome. Thank you. You now have the floor.
Hey, so everything, it actually looks pretty good. So year over year, this month, we're actually down, total crimes down almost 33%. So in total for violent crime, there's 3 crimes for the past 30 days as opposed to 4. So those 3 crimes, so there was an armed carjacking, 1200 block in Newton on April 8th. There was also a robbery at 12th and Newton on March 28th. And then the 4200 block of 22nd Street on March 31st, there was a carjacking as well. For 12th and Newton, it seems to be, even though crime's way down, that seems to kind of be like the little hot spot where stuff fans out, and everything's kind of vehicle related, it seems like, aside from the one female that was robbed. But everything of it, so there was the carjacking, there's a bunch of theft from autos right there, and then there was one actual vehicle that was stolen. So we have some extra resources that we're putting up there. Especially now that's nicer. There might be a foot beat up there, some mountain bikes or motorcycles, stuff like that that's kind of a little more visible to everybody. We're gonna put some flyers up, stuff like that. But overall, it's trend. I mean, it looks pretty good. Property crimes, which are things like your burglaries, theft from autos, and that sort of thing. There were 30 total crimes a year ago, and then for the same period this year, there was 20. So the overall numbers are trending in a good direction.
Okay. Anyone that's on the line or in the chat room have any questions for Captain Moore? Or, I'm sorry, Lieutenant Devlin, I'm sorry.
So, Chair, may I ask a question to Lieutenant?
Do we have any participants that want to ask any questions? Nope. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so Lieutenant, well, thank you. Welcome to our meeting. So my constituents mentioned to me that we see a increase in patrol in the community now. So could you comment on that? We're wondering, is that because of orders from our new commander and new assistant commander, or is that what's the status or the update on that? The increase in patrol, especially car patrol that we're seeing now here in 5B.
Right. So some of it is, when you get a new commander or an assistant chief, especially a commander, they like to kind of redeploy their resources how they see, in the past, things have worked for them. So there's been some manpower that's been reallocated to get some more officers into patrol that were in other positions, whether it was, like we hired some more civilian. So for administration at the station, obviously you wouldn't see those people aren't on patrol, but some of those positions can be filled with non-police officers, so civilians that work for the department. So we've hired a couple new ones. So the officers that were doing those positions are now back on patrol. And then it's just a cascading effect. Once you put them out, and then you get 3-4 officers from that, then you take 3-4 officers from a specialized group that was doing like crime suppression or something like that, where now they're doing more intelligence-led policing. So it's not all the back in the day we do all the stop and frisks and the super. I want to use the term proactive policing if you follow me with that. So that requires a lot of personnel. So if we're going to scale things back and do more intelligence-led policing, where it's based on social media, getting warrants, making connections through the internet, stuff like that, it requires less manpower. So those officers can be reallocated to patrol. So you're going to start seeing more people. Plus, then in the summer, you probably see some more mountain bikes and things like that.
Yeah, thank you for that. I heard that we're going to have an increase on the MBT trail as well. I think I heard that at the 5D meeting.
Yeah, we're trying to say, so as we put some people on mountain bikes and more people riding the motorcycles, we have the smaller scooters as opposed to the Harleys that they ride around. So those are good that we can patrol the trail effectively.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Yep.
Commissioner 5B02, do you have any questions for Lieutenant Devlin?
No, I have been getting updates in terms of the information that he's just shared with us in reference to 12th and Newton. But I would like to ask, are there any attractions or anything different going on 12th Street that you think would be drawing that kind of activity to the area?
No, I don't. They're trying to see if some of the stuff's linked up. So usually, like I said, so there was the two violent groups. So there was the armed carjacking there, and then there was the armed robbery. But they were basically a week and a half to 2 weeks apart, and they're completely different suspect lookouts. So I don't think they're related. And then for the theft from autos, that's generally, it's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably one person or a group of 2 to 3 people that have done all of them. So we just recently, over towards like Dakota Crossing, there's a group of kids that were going around, and they probably did 20 to 30 theft from autos, and they're doing it in the broad daylight. It's on everyone's Ring doorbell. It's just the same kids over and over. So, I mean, if anybody has doorbell cameras or anything, and they catch any of these people, please send us a video if they're acting suspicious, because it's generally, if we can lock up one person, it'll stop all of them.
And I do have an additional question. I know that there was some disruption at 17th and Randolph Street. There was a lot of chatter about the neighbors and disruption, loud music, negative behavior, and they had tried to get MPD involved. And when MPD would go out, there would be no appearance of anything going on. But then at 11 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call. The whole house had been surrounded by police because the house is actually on the corner and the garage is on the Randolph side, and the front of the house is on 17th Street. Do you have any information in regards to what the outcome of that was? And, is there any follow-up?
That I do not. You said it was at 11 in the morning this morning?
It was last week.
Last week.
Yes, and so I know for about a month and a half, a neighbor had been complaining that there was some activity going on there during the middle of the night. It always started midday, and then it would end, and then it would pick up again in the middle of the night. But never really got any clarity as to what the activity was. But then to see the pictures with MPD surrounding all parts of the house, it seemed to be a serious situation.
I can follow up on that with you if you give me your email address, and I can get you an answer to that.
Yes,
I'm
my
honestly not
email.
because sometimes, it might, sometimes what happens is when you guys send, like in this meeting, you'll send me stuff. It might not go to 5D officers. It might go to like NSID or some other division of the department. And then they might come out and conduct enforcement, and we don't 100% know. There's sometimes a breakdown of communication when we do that.
Okay, okay.
So, but what's your your email address?
Yes, it's 5B as in boy 02 at anc.dc.gov.
Okay,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Okay. 5B03. Commissioner Piekara. I know she's not feeling well. Do you have a question? Commissioner Piekara, do you have a question? Well, we'll wait till she come back on. 5B05.
No, no questions from me for 4th District. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Lieutenant. So
Thank you.
we're moving on to the mayor's office. Is Mr. Ingram on the line?
I'm sorry, Commissioner. We don't have anybody from 5th District tonight.
No, I did call it out and they did not respond.
Oh, that's frustrating. I actually had questions for them. All right. Thank you.
Well, actually, I thought that was Mr. Moore was from Lieutenant Devon was in for Mr. Captain Moore.
Yes,
Did I miss that? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was
have
in for
Is he still
Captain
on?
Moore, which was his 5th district.
right. We didn't have 405, but we did have 50.
Right.
I'm sorry, say that last part again.
We had he was the representative for PSA 503. So that was 5th district.
Oh, he was 5th District. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't see his name when he was talking. Let's see, did he take off?
Lieutenant, are you still on?
Looks like he might have.
Yeah, he probably got multiple
Okay.
meetings tonight.
That's fine. I'll send him an email. Thank you though.
Okay. All right. So do we have Christopher Ingram on from the mayor's office? Nope. Do we have Silas on? Grant? This is gonna be an easy night, huh? Where are we? We're at 7:19. We are running behind. So let's go straight into community concerns and open up the chat room. I'm sorry. I do not have anything, so we'll go to single member district commissioners report. I do not have anything right now to report. Oh, yes, I do. We have the hearing tomorrow for the redistricting. So I just wanted to make sure everyone is registered for that, or they write a letter, or however they would like to communicate whatever concerns or support they may have. So that's all I have right now for 5B01. 5B02?
Yes, I have basically, usually MPD gives my reports. But I also just wanted to just give a quick farewell in reference to Dr. Frederick of Howard University. He announced his retirement. and he'll be retiring in June. He is the president, for those that don't know, of Howard University. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because one of their campuses lie within ANC 5B02, which is Howard University East. So I would like to bid him farewell. Job well done. And we really appreciate the 13 years that he has been with the university. And that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. 5B03. Commissioner.
Hi guys. Sorry, it's a bit chaotic here. The only big update, I'm still waiting on details. For those of you in 5B03, you may have noticed that there was a very serious house fire last Thursday, I believe it was, on the 16th Street between Hamlin and Irving. We are still getting details. An elderly gentleman did perish in that fire, and so we are trying to get details from his family to see if there is an opportunity to support the family either with a GoFundMe or in other ways. So I will be circulating that information as soon as I have it. I'm
sorry. It was when I say an apartment fire, a house fire.
It was a house fire. House fire.
Wow.
The cause is still unknown. It was in the middle of the day. The gentleman who passed away, they did remove him from the top floors. They believe that the fire started either in the top floors or the attic. But they did have a number of fire investigators and others on the scene, so we're still waiting for additional information on that.
Oh, wow. Our prayers go out to the family. Is that it, Commissioner Piekara?
Yes, Chair, that's it on my end.
Okay. 5B04.
So I guess Commissioner Piekara, you're going to let me be the person that gives out the good news on our border at 13th Street. Have you had the opportunity to travel our new, slower 13th Street yet, Commissioner Piekara?
Oh, yes, I did share that last time of our NOI for the all-way stop is up, and the speed humps.
Yeah. So actually, Commissioner, I don't know. I mean, I hear you're not feeling well, but we have set out. I mean, this has been a really, like, for all of us, because we all know how this year started out and how last year and this year started out with our traffic. But the four-way stops came in on 13th and Kearney and 13th and Hamlin. And we're still pending on 13th and Girard. So that's really good news. I mean, for those that don't keep up, this 13th Street divides 5B04 and 5B03. And, and I just want to, I let Commissioner Piekara speak for her side, but she has another opportunity. But this was an ongoing effort. It has been, people have been putting efforts in here for years, commissioners before me. And also, but the community, I know over here on my 5B04 side, I had a lot of residents that avoided getting into the fray, asked, what do we need to do to make this happen? And they stuck to the course, and we received those. We have four-way stops. So if you haven't had a chance, go ahead up on 13th Street around here and just keep walking back and forth across the street. And have yourself a good old time over there, because hopefully, and they've been coming to a full stop. So let's hope that keeps up. That's on 13th and Kearney and on 13th and Hamlin. Also over here in 5B04, we have a lot of good things going on at Noise. We are expanding our garden. I know green space has been always on all of our agenda. Our new river, I always get this mixed up. I think it's Anacostia Riverfront is doing our new garden on the school grounds. Right now, that garden is behind gates, but I'm going to check to make sure and see when will the public have access to that garden. But I spoke with the team today. It should be finished probably in the next couple of days. They're putting in a new riverfront garden on Noise it can be seen by the public. It will be behind gates. So I hope that we get access to that as a community over here. Also, we're designing a new playground. That's been a big issue on Noise property. I know our playground in the park only accommodates our smaller children. And so we've been advocating for a program that our 2nd to 5th graders could use now. And we're in talks about designing that and expanding that. Anybody interested in joining that conversation, let me know, and I'll try to connect you with Jeff and Francis over there at the PTO. And I think that I can wrap up with saying that the hearing date for Hanover has been scheduled in July. So they have made the zoning commission's calendar. That's July the 21st. They have not been placed on the ANC calendar yet, our calendar, but we will let you know when the ANC will be reviewing and voting on that. I will be at this farmers market this weekend. So what I will do is I will bring the hard copies of those plans with me to the farmers market. And so anybody, because it's a lot and it's difficult to read, online, so if you want to sit down and look at the design and all the specs and all of the stuff that we've been working on over here at 5B04 for the last couple of years, meet me at the farmers market anytime between 9:30 and 12:30 on Saturday, and we can sit down and you can take your time and go through everything and ask your questions and see if you have anything that you want to, take to the hearing date with you when that comes up. And thank you, Commission, and that will conclude 5B04.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Amin, would you please give the location and time and date of the farmers market?
Thank you, Commissioner. So the farmers, as you know, the farmers market that we have now is on Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And it is on Monroe Street. The exact address is 716 Monroe Street. And for those, and I see a lot of us there, but it's Arch Walk. So where you have Brookland Pint, and right there, that little place, that's where we are on Saturdays for the farmers market. That's 716th Monroe or 7th and Monroe. And come on up, very metro accessible, walkable, bike racks. And if you have to drive up, there's usually street parking. It's usually turning over relatively fast. I would say probably about every 30 minutes or so. So come on up and let's have a chat. That's where I get to speak with a lot of you about a lot of things. And I will bring the plans with me this weekend. Thank you, Chair Carley, for reminding me of that.
All right, thank you. 5B05.
All right.
Sorry.
Congrats on getting your 4-way stop, commissioners, and the speed humps. I hope the 4-way stops are effective and people stop at them and don't roll through them, like they seem to do pretty often around the community. I hope it works and it slows everything down. So that's great news to hear. I just have a couple of small updates, announcements, and a shout out. We had a community cleanup recently for Earth Day, as well as a kids activity at Turkey Thicket. And it was a big hit. The kids had a ton of fun learning about how to save the bees and protect the earth. And we also collected a lot of trash, unfortunately. We also had, and I want to give a shout out to one of our younger members of our community who lives in 5B05. I'll just give her first name, Layla. She did an awesome job. She's a Girl Scout. She coordinated her own trash cleanup, and she got, I think, 5 volunteers. They spent 3 hours collecting trash, and they weren't just in 5B05. I think they went around the neighborhood and, they picked up 14 bags of trash in about a 1-mile area. They had a lot of support and feedback from the community. So if you saw them out there picking up trash about a week ago, thank you for supporting them. And they did want to flag some problem areas, which I just share with everybody here in case you want to, coordinate another cleanup later on. They said that the problem areas that they encountered where they had more trash than others were 10th and Monroe, 10th and Lawrence, 12th and Jackson, and 12th Street between Otis and Monroe. So anyway, kudos to Layla and her team for doing that, and keep up the great work. We will do another community cleanup in May, and I'll send out information about that. And I also just want to flag too, speaking of things that need to get cleaned up, we have a standing request in with Turkey Thicket to ask if their crew who cleans up that property can maybe do it more regularly, because they have a lot of trash that collects there as well. I think a lot of it probably blows out of the trash cans because they get really full. They also have a lot of parties and events at the picnic table area. So we're seeing what we can do about that. And we also have some broken playground equipment. I've reached out to DPR before, and I think DGS, and asked that it get repaired. It's still broken, and it's really frustrating because it's kind of creating a dangerous situation for kids at the playground at this point. So I'm going to keep pushing for that. But if you have any other concerns about Turkey Thicket or anything else, folks can email me at 5bo5@anc.dc.gov. Thanks so much.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. So now we can open up the meeting to our participants, the residents, the people we serve. Commissioner Vice Chair, do you have the chat group?
Give me a second. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Let me pull up the chat. All right. Only thing I see, it look like the chat is open from Commissioner Costello. And I don't see anything else in the chat.
So no questions, no comments, no complaints, no concerns?
Just to clarify, I think residents can also unmute, right? If they want to speak.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, they can unmute. Nothing is muted.
great.
Yep. Well, I guess everyone of us must be doing a very, very good job.
Well, this is a new year, isn't it?
So let's.
I had a comment. If you guys can hear me, I'm not really sure if you can.
If you could identify yourself, please, and you may go from there.
Yes, my name is Carmen Strawn. I live on the corner of Upshur and 12th Place Northeast, so in Commissioner Castro's area. And I just wanted to thank her for the amazing speed bumps that are now on Upshur that have, for me, have made a huge difference. Oh, sure. So obviously I have a small child, and so the speed of which people have been going down the street has been always a concern for me. So it was just a joy to see those be installed, and a big surprise and a happy smile. So thanks.
Glad we could get that done, and thanks to DDOT for doing it.
We have anyone else that have any comment, concerns?
So yes, this is George Sims. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I'm from the Church Emmanuel Bible Assembly at 10th and Kearney. So thank you for holding this meeting. This is the first time I've been here, but I'd like to.
Welcome.
I'm glad to be here, and would like to be more involved in the community. And so thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. And we meet the fourth Wednesday of every month. And we also meet the first Wednesday of every month. However, we usually don't get feedback from the community at our meeting on the first week, the first Wednesday of the month. But
So
yes.
also just had a question at the neighborhood of 10th and Kearney. Who is our commissioner?
You've been truly blessed, Mr. Sims. The Lord is really looking out for you. I am the commissioner for 10th and Kearney. I would love. Why don't we make arrangements to meet up?
All right, thank you, Commissioner.
You're very, very welcome, sir. I look forward to it.
Okay. Anyone else would like to say something? Introduce themselves?
Yes, we have a question in the chat from Smallwood or East Smallwood and R. McDaniel, and we're in reference to the freight trucks. We are I am Commissioner Higgins actually proposing a resolution this evening in reference to overweight vehicles on Otis Street. So we'll be putting a resolution on the floor based on a notice of intent through DDOT. So that will be this evening.
Okay, quick question, because I posed that question. I'm Mark McDaniel. Because when I saw the flyer, it said like 12, 10th and 12th, or 10th and 12th, 14th, and notice wasn't even mentioned. So I mean, does that mean for the entire Otis Street?
It's
Sorry.
actually it's from 13th and Otis to South Dakota Avenue. So that's the 1300 block through the 2000 block.
Well, South Dakota starts at the 1000 block, and then it goes into the 1200 block.
But we're starting with DDOT's notice of intent for that area from 10th and Newton. I'm sorry, 10th and Otis to 13th.
Right.
It is not included in the notice of intent. It starts at 13th for DDOT.
It starts at 13th and go where?
It goes to South Dakota Avenue. It doesn't
okay.
cover the 1000 block.
So quick question. So is 14th and Otis bypassed? Or I still don't understand.
It's covering for the 1400 block of Otis. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, sir. Also,
I'm
are we
sorry.
gonna get speed? Oh, that's okay. So are we gonna get speed bumps like Newton did?
No, there's not a proposed. There are speed humps on Otis, but not on that 1400 block. This would just be an overweight vehicle restricted street to keep the overweight vehicles from using the street as a route through town.
Okay.
Right, because, hi, I'm Eula, MG Smallwood from 1401 Otis Street. And
Yes.
it seemed that, once Newton got the speed bumps, we became the roadway to, I don't want to say anything bad, but if anyone has ever been to 14 and Otis, we get all the traffic from
Yeah.
four quadrants.
Yes.
And the thing that frightened me the other day was, what is that truck that has to take gasoline, petroleum to the gas station? My goodness, do you know that was on the street?
Yeah. Yeah.
Long,
And that's
long, yeah. I'm sorry.
no, please. No, express yourself. I understand.
Yeah, because I'm retired, and I'll be frank with you. Like I said at one of the other meetings, I have a walker. They speed so much around here. I'm afraid to take a walk, thinking that they'll hit me on the sidewalk. That's not very good. And I've been I'm the original owner in 1995, and we never had anything like this happening, before. So I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate if anyone is, the bill to try to do something about these big trucks, the tour buses, the
Yes,
freight
ma'am.
trucks,
Yes,
all
ma'am.
that. And how I know it's doing damage is that all of a sudden now the foundation to my house is starting, not that I guess eventually it was going to wear away, but it did not start until these trucks came back.
And that's the purpose of this resolution that's being proposed this evening.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I got emotional. I promised myself.
No, that's okay. This is what this meeting is for. This is for the community, for you to pose these types of questions and comments so we'll know exactly how we can help you. So I
And
appreciate you and I appreciate your comments.
just one more thing. So they
Yes,
paved
ma'am.
the streets from the 6th to the 16th. So my question is, usually streets have like, what do you call it, dividers, dividing lines.
Markers.
It's
Yes,
no
ma'am.
dividing line anymore.
Okay, yeah, that is correct. I don't see them, no. When they put down the new streets, I do not see the lines to separate traffic going east to west or north to south. You are absolutely correct.
Yes.
But on major corridors, they do put those down. But that is something that I can pose if you think that that's a hazard or distraction to drivers, we can pose that.
Yes, yes, yes. And I'll be quiet now.
No, no, this is your time. Is there anything else that you would like to comment on, ma'am?
No, I'm just so grateful that you're going to put this bill up because I was thinking that, even though I had presented before, I hadn't, heard anything. But I
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so very much.
No problem. And I appreciate you attending the meeting this evening. I thank you for your comments.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Anyone else? Comments? This is your time.
Hello, this is Andrew Davis at 1615 Otis Street. And I just wanted to pair on the woman that just spoke. The streets are too narrow for the yellow line because they're two-way streets and people park on both sides. So as Commissioner Higgins explained, on the major roadway like Monroe, they only have the yellow lines. So unless they make us a one-way, that would be the only glory to it. But no yellow lines here.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Going once?
So,
Going twice?
I'm sorry, there's a comment in the chat about enforcing the vehicle weight restriction on 10th between Rhode Island and Franklin. I think that's Commissioner Amin's district.
that is me. Hi, Jen. Yeah, Jen, why don't I reach out to you and let's get DDOT to do a study on there and see whether that could happen. I know that you folks down there on that block always get stuff done. So tell you what, you and I will speak and we will see if we can get that in motion. Okay.
Thanks, Ra.
Okay, great.
If I can offer just a tip from my experience working on this up here, MPD has a motor carrier safety unit, and so they're the ones that still do a lot of the like non-automated enforcement of overweight vehicles or trucks and things like that. So you might reach out to them if you need a contact. I can try looking it up for you, Commissioner Amin, but they're the ones that'll send out the officers to do the in-person enforcement. I don't know if they have cameras that will be effective at enforcing vehicle weight restrictions, but that would be DDOT, so that would be separate. But just let me know if you need a point of contact from MPD for that enforcement.
Thank you, Commissioner Costello. We will be reaching out to you. That's going to be a bit tricky one only because it's a lot of construction that's going on down there that will go on down there regardless. So, I mean, there's going to be trucks there, but we can see what we can do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Do we have any other comments, concerns in the chat room?
I don't see anything else in the chat.
All right, thank you. And thank you guys for showing up. And thanks for your comments. You guys help us when you give feedback. And it definitely, it is always welcome. So we're gonna move on to, what do we have now? Okay, so we're on to new business. The first thing we have is Commissioner Higgins. You may go ahead and introduce what it is that you are presenting to the board this evening.
Okay, thank you so much. And since we have already started talking about the DDOT and the overweight vehicles, The first resolution that I would like to propose is the no through trucks over 1.25 ton capacity restriction on Otis Street. And that is the notice of intent 22-124-PSD. I sent that and from the actual resolutions out to the commissioners today. Previously, I think at the beginning of the month, I sent them all of the documentation in regard to the proposed resolution. And so what we're asking is that the agency restrict the overweight over 1.25 ton capacity restrictions along the residential corridor of Otis between South Dakota Avenue and actually 13th Street. Under the proposed restrictions, trucks over 1.25 ton capacity would not be allowed to cut through the neighborhood en route to further destinations, but trucks making local deliveries would be still permitted. I had a single member district meeting on April 5th. In addition to that single member district meeting, where we talked about the proposed NOI, I also sent out emails as well as the recording of that meeting and had a comment period for about 20 days. So I am asking that, putting a motion on the floor to approve the resolution for the no through trucks over 1.25 ton capacity along the residential corridor of Otis between South Dakota Avenue and 13th Street Northeast.
Commissioner Higgins, real quick, there was an error in your resolution that I caught right before a meeting. I think you mentioned deaf reach in this resolution. I think that was an error.
Sorry, let me go through.
So you might need to just edit that out.
Okay, let me go back because I'm looking at it. Because I had two with Otis Street. And where did you see that in here?
We're at the bottom. You go down.
Okay. Okay, I see where you're talking about representatives. Okay. So I ask that I place a motion on the floor to accept the resolution with changes to take out the deaf reach representatives to Commissioner Higgins presented with no objection from the community.
Can I ask a quick question too? The DDOT has already issued an NOI for this project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And requesting comments from the community and the ANC. Yes.
Okay. And did they say when they would be able to work on or complete the project? Did they give a deadline or a timeline?
I will have to refer back to the information, but I also sent all of that information to the commissioners as well.
Okay, I was just curious. That's all. That's why I was asking.
Okay, a motion is placed on the floor for an NOI to DDOT restricts trucks over 1.25 tons from traveling Otis Street Northeast from South Dakota to 13th Street. Remove the death reach. That will be the only correction.
Yes.
For this NOI. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay, the motion was second. I will do a roll call vote. 5B02.
Aye.
5B03.
Aye.
5B04.
Yes.
5B05.
Aye. And I am glad that we're doing resolutions on NOIs now. This is great. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Okay, we have 3 ayes, 1 yes, the motion passed. That's unanimous, 0 opposed, 0 abstain. Commissioner Higgins, I believe you have the next one as well. I guess we kind of going a different order, but that's okay. You got that. So you have the next one as well. If you want to introduce what you're presenting to the board this evening.
Yes, the next resolution I wanted to place on the floor was to the Office of Zoning for BZA application number 20714. And this is on behalf of Deaf Reach. What they're proposing is a special exception relief. They actually have 2 buildings that sit on that property, and one of them is a matter of right, and the other needs the special exception. And it is to raise an existing building, to construct a detached 3-story with a cellar, 15 units with a healthcare facility. And the property it has more than enough property to sustain what they're trying to build, because if you're familiar with Deaf Reach, that's located at 1203 and a half Otis Street, it actually sits back. I also sent out the architectural drawings. We have 2 representatives from Deaf Reach, as well as the company that they're working with to present. I also sent out the recording and had a comment period of, again, 20 days to receive any feedback from the community. And I had no objections. I did have one comment or statement, which was in reference to the parking. And that location with the new build will include parking. And the gentleman also talked about the trash pickup. And the trash pickup will be also done underground in the garage. So it will not negatively affect the community. So I am asking that relief be given to Deaf Reach for application number 20714.
Okay, a motion been placed on the floor for community house for the hearing impaired, 1203 Otis Street Northeast, to razz and construct a new building. Visa number 20714. It's a special exception. A motion been put on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'd like to second.
Commissioner Amin has second. I will now take a roll call vote. 5B02.
Aye.
5B03.
Aye.
5B04.
Aye.
5B05.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. The motion is passed. Commissioner Higgins, I believe you have something else to present tonight.
This other one is just I wanted to a resolution for and it's interesting. MPD also spoke to some things happening at 12th and Newton, and so this is a resolution to DGS, which is the Department of General Services, to have removal of bench seating that's located at 3530 12th Street Northeast, DC. And I actually reached out to Commissioner Costello because I was serious about swapping out the bench and placing it somewhere where your seniors could relax. But what the young lady presented on was the loitering and the alcohol consumption, and the people that are out there consuming alcohol are actually harassing the clientele that comes in the businesses that are located right there at the two business locations, actually three, Brookland Grill, Vibrant Textures, and it's another beauty shop right there on the corner. So I would like to petition DGS to remove those benches and place them somewhere else where they could, really be utilized in a positive manner. So I'm placing a motion on the floor for the benches to be removed and reloaded to another location for senior use and relaxation. And if Commissioner Costello has a location in mind, as we talked about in our PAL meeting, I would like to include that as well. So I would like to leave that little bit open so we can include that.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I'm sorry, I meant to go back and look through all of the emails that I had exchanged with constituents and various agencies on this. Yes, there was a location right by the 7-Eleven that a resident had identified as potentially being a suitable spot for a bench. And I understand the concerns that the business in your district and her clients have about not wanting to be harassed. Totally legit. I can respect that quite a bit. I think MPD tends to hang out at the 7-Eleven fairly often, so I wonder if that might be a more suitable location. And if that's something that you would consider including in your resolution, we could just ask that it be relocated to that part of the intersection.
Okay, yeah, because that's why I reached out to you again, because I wanted to include it
Thank you.
prior to this evening, but
I know.
okay.
I appreciate it, and I'm sorry.
So can we do that motion with that addition, please?
And I actually just had a question. I also echo what Commissioner Costello shared. No one should have to be harassed going in and out of businesses. I'm sorry that is happening for your constituents, certainly. Has there been any engagement with MPD? And I only ask because while the bench may seem like an easy kind of removal, I don't know that it necessarily. We've been dealing with something similar on this end at the Brentwood Strip. And it doesn't seem, at least in our experience, that removing the bench necessarily addresses the underlying issue.
Your question was, the answer to your question is yes.
Okay, and what was MPD's response to that?
With they've had MPD officers that have been visibly out there and addressing the problem, but they cannot stay out there on an ongoing basis. They have to cycle around. They cannot just stand there and monitor that one particular location.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully we can get to a point where we can have more seating, because I know some of the seniors in the area have really used that area, but for now, hopefully this will help address the issue, if not temporarily.
Yeah, but we have 4 other benches four other benches as well that are right there on that corner.
How many benches do you have, Commissioner? I'm sorry.
In front of Newton Street Market, there are 2 that face each other, and then in front of the CVS.
Oh, okay.
And then on the next corner in front of the beauty salon.
Got it. Okay.
Commissioner Costello, can you please be more specific about where the benches
Yep.
would be relocated?
Yes. Yep. It would be the northwest corner at the intersection of 12th and Otis Streets in front of the 7-Eleven. I think there's one bench there right now, but when I spoke with residents, it sounded like they wanted more seating options available, especially near bus stops, because some of the bus stops have these bus shelters that have those really narrow benches that nobody can fit on comfortably.
Yeah, and they
And
don't have any back
yeah,
support.
yeah, and residents wanted benches available that have armrests to make it easier for seniors to get up from.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the request. And, if we can reuse the benches that we already have, I think that would be, good to try and do.
Okay, and just for clarity, Commissioner Higgins, how many benches is it?
That particular location has just that one, and that
You're relocating one bench.
one bench, yes.
All right, I'm ready to put the motion on the floor for Commissioner Higgins. To support the Vibrant Textures, which is a new business at 3530 12th Street Northeast, wanting the benches to be removed. And we're going to put an addition into the resolution where the benches will be relocated to 12th and Otis Street in front of the 7-Eleven. The motion has been placed on the floor. Do I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Costello. Commissioner Costello, second the motion. We're going to do a roll call vote. 5B02.
Aye.
Okay. 5B03.
Aye.
5B04.
Aye.
5B05.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We have 4 ayes, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions.
There was a good question in the chat from Miss Smallwood. Why can't the benches be relocated to Turkey Thicket? I think Commissioner Higgins, correct me if I'm wrong. I think DGS is in charge of the bench on the street in front of the business in your district.
That is correct. And DPR is in charge of that facility, just like we were talking about the Metro buses. Metro is in charge of that shelter. So there are different agencies that handle different apparatuses. So we were just trying to figure out a place where it didn't interfere with another agency's location and the way they operate.
But I will say to Miss Smallwood, Turkey Thicket's in my district, so if you think that we need more benches there, I would be very glad to support that request. I'll put my email in the chat, and if you'd like to reach out and let me know if you have a specific location in mind, I can advocate for that. And I'll recite my email too. It's 5b05@anc.dc.gov.
Also, I would like to mention that there's someone in the chat room who is asking for some help. It is, I believe, Nikki Smith.
Asking for what?
Help. She said something about she needed some assistance or help. Okay, Commissioner Higgins.
I will not be placing a runaway on for a vote. I have yet to hear from the proprietors. I did present based on the information that I had, but I still have not been able to have a direct conversation with them. So I didn't feel that it was a good idea to bring it for a great weight from the ANC.
Are you asking to postpone or
No,
so you're removing it altogether?
yes, ma'am.
Since we've already approved it, can you put the motion on the floor, please, so that we can remove this from the agenda?
Yes. I would like to place a motion on the floor to remove the Runaway Restaurant Abra license renewal from the agenda for a vote.
Okay, motion been placed on the floor to remove the Runaway Restaurant at 3523 12th Street Northeast, requesting or its Abra license up for renewal. And this is going to be removed from the agenda. And if it need to come back on, it would have to be requested later.
Yes.
Motion been put on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Amin has seconded the motion. Let's do a roll call vote. 5B02,
Aye.
5B03,
Aye.
5B04,
Yes.
and 5B05.
Aye.
Okay, we have 3 ayes, 1 yes. The motion passed. No opposed and no abstentions. Well, now we can move on. That was a lot. Okay. Commissioner Costello, you can present what you have for the board tonight.
Great. We have a property at 4001 7th Street Northeast. Let's see. I'm going to try and pull up. Do you want me to pull up the building plans or?
Please.
Okay, great. Give me 1 second then.
And this is the, okay, 4 unit. I did put that down. Okay, for a special exception. All right.
Yeah. I couldn't put my other properties on our agenda, so this is it for me. Right.
Was that a question or rhetorical?
Rhetorical.
Okay, I thought so.
All right, my link is not working. Could you put the number, or excuse me, the agenda back up for 1 quick second for me?
Commissioner Higgins,
I'm sorry, would you ask? My apologies.
the agenda, could you put it back up, please?
Okay, give me. Oh, you want the agenda up? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
20706 is the number if that's what you're asking for.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Oh, I could have told you that. Visa number 20706.
Yes, thank you. Okay, great.
And the great thing about it is, and I'm not sure since if it's on the agenda, are you able to pull that up just by hitting on the visa number?
I can't click on the link because
Commissioner Higgins, can you click on
did
it? 20?
Yep.
I-
Yep. I
And it
got
should
you.
come up.
I
Yeah,
have it open on my screen, so it's all set.
Oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. It's already up on my screen.
Here, I'll just, okay.
thank
It might be
you.
easier if I do it, Commissioner Higgins, just so I can scroll through.
I'm sorry.
I said it might be easier if I do it, just so I can scroll
Oh,
through
go
and
ahead.
point out a few things. So here, I'll try to. Yeah, okay, great. So, like I said, this is at 4001 7th Street Northeast. It's a corner property, currently has 4 units in the building. And the proposal is to add 2 more units and 4 parking spaces in the back. So you can see that there are 2 2 full-size parking spaces and 2 slightly smaller spaces. They're only 1 foot narrower. And then this foot here is about 2 feet shorter. than the other three. The two basement units will have their own stairs going down here and a small little patio on the side for each of them. I met with residents about it. We had a really good conversation and great feedback for the developer. There were, sorry, I'll show you the kind of the guts of the building so you can see what it'll look like from the side view. So the developer, constituents wanted the developer to do a couple of things. Let me see if I can pull up the front. Okay. So there were a couple of requests. Residents asked that the railings on the building be matched to the best extent possible with similar wrought iron finishes on other buildings throughout the neighborhood. They asked that the current building, I don't know if I have a good picture, the current building has this kind of triangular, sort of like an awning over the doorway, and most of the other buildings on the block have something similar in design. Residents asked that the developer try and mimic that style on the front of the door instead of going too modern. And then lastly, the current building has what's called, it's basically like a faux mansard roof here. It looks like there's a roof that goes up this high, but it's apparently just like a faux roof. It doesn't actually, the ceilings don't extend quite up that high. All of the buildings on the street, this isn't a good image, but they all have a similar roof on the front. The proposed redesign does not include that roof extension, and so the front of the building would look very boxy without it. And so residents asked that the developer try and find a way to mimic that same roof style on the front, just so it blends in a little bit better with the rest of the neighborhood. So those are the requests that I put in my Form 129. And otherwise, residents were supportive of the project. So I'm asking the commission to support it as well with the.
Can we open up for discussions?
Yeah, of course, we can. Let me find my Form 129 for you.
Yeah,
too.
I have a question if you can pull that back up. I would like to know, so they are basically adding 4 more. He says 4 now, it's gonna go into 8. I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah, hang on one second.
So they're gonna double the amount of living spaces that it has right now, right?
No, hang on one second. Sorry. I've got too many folders open on my window.
Wow.
There we go. Okay. No, so it will have 7 units, and let me get this back open.
And
Okay.
this is, I'm looking, because why, I'm looking in here at the actual requests on the visa, and it has 15 units.
I don't know if we're looking at the same thing.
Maybe we're
20706.
not.
It's definitely not 15. I promise you that. It has 4 currently, and they're adding 3. So there'll be 1 up here, and as I understand it, 2 down here.
Okay, so it's going to be a total of 6.
7.
7. Ooh,
Sorry. Yep, 7.
7.
Yep. So this is, I think, similar to Commissioner Higgins' Deaf Reach project in her district. In this zone, the developer, because it's a multi-unit building in this zone, the developer just needs to ask for a special exception. But it can build, 8 units, 9 units.
Right. I understand that. However, I've just never seen an odd number. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 7. That's what, I mean, that's what kind of like 7 units. I mean, most people go 8, 6.
I know. So the last unit is going to be at the top, and it will be set back from the street, so it's not.
Oh,
You can kind
wow.
of see it here. So it'll be set back from the street, so it's not as visible. Trying to see if they have a good drawing. I don't remember seeing a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's gonna
Does-
have like a balcony and all that. Is that what's gonna happen? That's what it appears.
Oh, like a rooftop deck?
Yes.
Maybe a small area, but so, oh, okay, this will show you what else is happening on the roof here. So to let some sunlight in, again, there will be a unit kind of on the far side here next to the adjacent building to let sunlight into that unit because it won't have, side windows. They're
Okay.
putting in this what's called a roof monitor. It's basically like a little pop-up window on the roof to let more sunlight in. So there will be a small little deck over like closer to this side here, on the right-hand side of the building for the top unit,
Yes.
but they're not going to have access to this little window pop up here. So they're going to maintain privacy for the residents who live in that unit by not making the window accessible to the folks on the top unit.
Okay, and so the other two questions, so so it's gonna have 7 units, which is, you just explained why, which makes sense if the adjacent unit is, light and air will be affected. So they are renting these units out. Are they gonna continue to rent them out?
I'm trying to think if we got into that with this developer.
Because a lot of times when people start doing these massive, they turn them into condos. So that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to know. Are they going to continue to rent them? I mean, if you don't know, I would love to have that answer later if you can get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. So I feel like this was part of the conversation. I think what they said was, because I think we had a constituent ask about this, and I think what they said was they they didn't have an answer offhand. I think we were just meeting with the
The developers
developer.
didn't have an answer?
Well, no. So we met with, I think it was the architect, and I don't remember if they had one of the legal team members there who were one of the people who were shepherding it through the BZA process. Now, I think what they said was it kind of depends on what the market looks like at the time the building is finished because interest rates are going up. That makes properties more expensive. It might be better just to rent the properties out by the time the building is completed because there might be more demand for rentals than there are for condos. So I think that was the answer we got.
Are there tenants in there now?
I think he said it was empty now.
Okay.
I used to know one of the constituents in there and they moved away a couple months ago, so I think it's empty.
Okay.
Yep, okay, and I see something in the chat. I think Michael confirmed he was part of the meeting. He confirmed it. And Boaz too. Depends on market conditions.
Okay. All right. So now you may go ahead, Commissioner. Costello.
Me?
You may,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
I'll put my motion on the floor. I don't know if I did yet. To support the requested zoning relief. And let me find my Form 129 so I can share that with you.
Special exception.
Yeah, special exception. That's the requested zoning relief. That's right.
That's it? Okay. A motion is put on the floor to support 40017 7th Street Northeast, visa number 20706. Special exception, 4-unit apartment building will be transformed into a 7-unit building. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Piekara, second. The motion been put on the floor, second by Commissioner Piekara. Roll call vote, 5B02,
Aye.
5B03,
Aye.
5B04,
Aye.
5B05.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 0 opposed, 0 abstention. The motion is passed. And let me make sure I put down the right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. And that is our last item of business on the agenda. Commissioners, do you have anything to take us out with? 5B02?
Nope, nope, nope.
5B03?
Depending on how I feel this weekend, I'm hoping to be able to get over and host office hours at our new business, or at the new business that is on 18th and Monroe. I will send out the details, but it's a great co-working space. They have wonderful coffee. So I will send out an email if I am feeling better and able to see everybody. And hopefully you can do that this weekend.
I'm sorry, what was the name of the business?
It is, oh my gosh, how am I not? Sorry, I should have this up already. I apparently don't have it right in front of me, but oh, it's what is it? It's over here. So Jasmine Smith and others. It's multi-use space called. Gosh, sorry, I apparently don't have the name in my.
Take your time.
I'm like,
Not
lots of
too much
tweets.
time.
I was like, I've got all these tweets about how great it is, and we've been there. And hey, do you remember what the space is on 18th and Monroe? Oh, of course he stepped out. I will put it back in. Oh, rentable. Oh, she doesn't have it in her bio either. I will have to send that around. Sorry, y'all.
Okay, please send it out so we know what you're talking about.
I will.
5B04.
Nothing.
5B05.
Gosh, you know what? I had something in the back of my mind and it slipped. So I guess it wasn't that important. And thanks for a good meeting, everybody.
All right, thank you. You guys, I did the corrections on the minutes that you, the suggested request for the minutes. I have sent that to you already. Commissioner Amin, I have signed the quarterly. I have sent that to you. I will send the minutes to you in a minute after Commissioner Higgins. Oh, before we go, I have two questions. One, Commissioner Piekara, what happened with the resolution for the mayor's office for subsidizing rent for 5B?
Yeah, so I've got to send that around. It looks like I was talking to some folks. DGS just sent something around that they're looking to open a Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement office in 5B. So I am working with them to figure out exactly when that is approved and then send the request after there, because my hope is that since they're bringing this to the area, they don't yet have the offices set up and claim that we might be able to get in from the ground. So I should have that to you and the rest of the commission by the end of the week.
Okay. All right.
Commissioner Carley, I do have something. I just want to say, if you could send the QFR to Commissioner Higgins first, because I think my signature is already on there once I complete it. Is that correct?
I have Commissioner Higgins as the two person, and you are CC'd.
Okay, great, because I've already signed, so if she can sign before me, then I can upload it right after that.
I'm signing it and I'm sending it to her, but I'm just letting you know so you don't, lose any sleep over it.
I'm not going to lose any sleep, but you might lose some money if we don't get it in.
So I just wanted to let everyone know that I sent the minutes. They've been corrected. You have them. I will be signing off on them unless you guys have something else, and I will be sending it out in probably 5 minutes. And
I was just going to say,
Commissioner Costello, you will also have your form in probably about 5 minutes as well.
Thank you. Yeah, there were two things in the comments. I think Commissioner Piekara was going to mention one of them.
Commissioner Piekara.
I finally found the name of the business, and I put the info and the website in the chat. It's the Open Door Concept. It's on 1803 Monroe. Great Black women-owned business. They have, like I said, it's a beautiful space. It's rentable. They have open kind of coffee working hours there. So I'm going to try to start setting up monthly office hours out of that space to hopefully have people come see the space and have some good coffee.
All right. Well, let me know when you buy it. I'll show up.
Well, actually, I think they offer free meeting space for ANCs and community groups. So, hey.
They do.
But we have an office, so it's nice to know that there's someplace else out there, but we have an office. And actually, I have a coffee maker that I plan to put in our office. So it's free coffee at our office at 1902 Irving Street Northeast. Come on over. I invite you over to look at the new plans for the development that will go up for vote and zoning on the 21st. So come on out, everyone. Thank you very much. Good night.
Mr. Amin,
What
what-
hours are you at the office? Sorry, I know you.
Let's
have
talk
open
about when we're
invite,
going to meet to get those checks signed. Thank you, you guys. Y'all have a good evening, and
I'm
thank
sorry.
you very much for a very pleasant meeting.
Commissioner Carley,
Yes.
I'm sorry, there was one other thing in the chat I just wanted to flag.
Oh, please, yeah, I mean, we still got 4 minutes.
I'll be less than that. The Franciscan Monastery Garden Guild is doing their annual plant sale again. I think they had skipped it last year and maybe the year before. Saturday, April 30th from 9 to 6 and Sunday, May 1st from 9 to 3. I put that information in the chat as well as a link to their website in case folks want to take a look at that real quick. That's it. Thank you.
Could you also email us that as well?
Email to you?
All the commissioners.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you guys for a pleasant meeting. Thank you everyone that showed up, and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.